Hi, this is Callie C with Cables and Pearls, and I'm coming with you today with another video of what I'm up to today and what I have been working on. I've been silent for a bit, and there's good news with that. I've made significant progress with the sweater that I'm working on. So for today's video, I will share with you the progress that I worked on with the sweater that I'm working on, and also I'm gonna have a knit chit chat with you, or just a crafting chat with you. So first things first, let's talk about the sweater. I'm so excited for this. I will not tell you how long I've been working on this sweater. So just a reminder, this sweater was something I was working on since last year of, let's say, June, right? I really didn't start knitting until like September. And then some things started happening and I couldn't really focus on the sweater. So I finally finished it in January this year. But my son ended up having a growth spurt. So instead, I had to take apart the whole sweater and start again from scratch. That was in January. We are now in August. And finally, my mind has quieted enough so that I can actually finish the sweater, which I'm very excited for and very happy about. So let me tell you the progress that I've made on this. First, this is the sweater, right? Right? This, I'm telling you, this is so, I'm so happy with this. Okay, so before I just made this video, right? Like before I just pressed record, I finished the button band for this sweater. Okay, look at this. Look at this. It's a 2x2 ribbon here for the button band. And this is the side where the buttons are going to go on. And this is the side where I'm going to have to work on the button band, and I'm going to have to put the buttons in. The stitch markers are reminding me of how I'm going to space the buttons so that when I do put the button holes, it's going to be where those stitch markers are approximately placed. I have 3 different size buttons waiting for me in the wind, or in the wing, I should say, right? To help me with that assignment. I'm hoping that I can use the red one. And if I can't use the red one, then I'll have other buttons I can use, but let's keep my fingers crossed and let's see if I can use the bright red ones for this, because my son's absolutely excited about it. As I mentioned to you last time, my son wanted me to create a pocket for him. Now this is the first time I made a pocket for a sweater. They've asked for it before, but I kept putting up saying, oh, it's too hard, I don't know. And then one time I forgot about it altogether and just made the sweater without the pocket. This time I'm like, they want a pocket, I'm gonna do a pocket. So this is just basically a sewn in pocket. There's so many different pockets to do, but this pocket is inseam pocket. So what do you mean by that? It's basically in the seams of the sweater. I'm debating whether or not I'm gonna have a border for this. I'm probably not going to, only because I kind of like it just there. It's like it's there and it's not there at the same time. It's a weird preference. There are a few things that I have learned with making the sweater, and I probably should have acknowledged it before or made it before. As you can see, the sleeves, right, my son, right, they taper, right, and they taper probably here to the small spot, which is here. I have a weird habit, even though I do it loosely, of binding, casting on too tight. And then I realized that I actually want the sweater not to be so narrow in the wrist. I actually want it to be as wide as the forearm part of the sweater. But not, okay, maybe not as wide as a forearm part, but just enough, right? So that it's not so tight. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just measuring how I'm going to cast on, because that's the only like pet peeve that I have when I make sweaters. It's always the wrist part. Let me know in the comments if it's something like that for you too. If you're having issues with that, or you use a different cast on, I am all ears. If you use a different cast on for the sleeve cuff part, let me know. I don't have a problem with the bottom. The bottom seems to be fine whatsoever. But it's always the cuffs to the sleeves that, while they look gorgeous, if I don't say so myself, right? Here it is. it's always this section that seems a little bit too tight. Aside from that, like I mentioned, button band is complete. After I finish this other side button band, then I work on the neck. Now, this is it, right? So, there we go. So, I work on the neck. And the neck is something very interesting because he said that he wanted me to complete a hood for him. Now, I had to look this up, right? Because still learning different techniques. I'm really excited about the fact that I can still learn. So I'm 10 years knitting in, right? And I'm still learning things, 10 years on and off. On and off, because sometimes I'm just a really slow knitter when it comes down to getting projects done. And many people ask me for different things, and then I make things for myself, of course. I've made shawls, which I'm actually pretty excited to share this with you, but when the time comes, I'll take them out. For this sweater, he asked me to make him a hood. Now, I've made hoods before, right? When babies are small, it's easy. You just make a hood, pick up the, because, you know, the neckline has to be larger naturally. But as you get older, the neckline does change. Also, the depth of the hood is changing too. So I had to look up to see exactly how I wanted to increase the depth of the hood for his head space. So how much space his head actually takes up inches wise versus the neckline versus how much I have to increase in order to get to like that hooded, you know, look with the sweater. It's just what they want. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and that's the last step I have to do with that particular sweater, and then I get to start the next one. This one should be so much quicker because, like I said, I now have the headspace to do this, and I'm very thankful for that right now. So another thing I wanted to touch with you, since I touched on the sweater part, that's the project that I'm currently focusing on. I'm still making granny squares, and I lost count how many granny squares I've made so far. When I finish that granny square poncho bolero top thingy, I'm gonna share it with you as soon as possible. But right now, my priority is finishing up the sweater and starting the next one before it gets too cold, because we are already in August, and I need to finish it. I would like to finish it. Need is a strong word. I would like to finish it. So the other thing I wanted to start talking to you, now that I've gotten that out the way, I wanted to talk to you about confidence in knitting. And I don't know if many people talk about this topic before, but I find myself with retouching back into sweater making and, you know, having my son try it on as a make it, because the sweater that I made was made bottom up. Just multiple different things going on with the confidence part. A few years ago, I made a gift, and the gift wasn't well received, and this is so sad, right? Because you, as a knitter or a maker or crocheter, whatever it is that you do, knit, crochet, you know, weave, sew, you put your time and your effort into this, and you so really want another person to be appreciative of your stuff as you are, because, you know, you made it, you created it, you spent time of your life doing it for them because you felt the love in your heart for them, and that's why you did it. And instead of receiving it, you're not looking for a groveling nod. Oh, you're the most greatest. No. Receive it humbly. Receive it respectfully. And instead, when it is received with criticism or nitpicking, oh, why does this look this way? Why is this look? Oh, you did this on purpose, right? Then it ceases to be a gift of love, and now it turns into a gift of evaluation. It's like, I did not hand my knitting over to you to be evaluated. I gave it to you as a gift, and now you are contemplating whether or not it is good enough for your standards. Never mind. And so when you meet or come across something like that, you can take a serious blow with your confidence and your trust and judgment when it comes down to just making and crocheting. I unfortunately had encountered that twice. The first time I encountered it was many years ago when I first started crochet. I was super excited about it. I was talking to someone about it, and then, you know, the comparison trap comes in where, you know, this other person says to me, there's so much, the person who I was showing the work to says, didn't say, the other person who I was with said about the person whose work I was showing to, it's mouthful, right? That their work is so much better than yours. And you're like, well, yeah, they have many more years experience than me. I just started. But even that, knowing the truth, it still took a blow to my confidence. Like, wow, you can't even support me when I'm trying something new. And then later on, when it came down to making a gift for that person, because let's see, I'll make a gift. Although I should have gotten my hint the first time, but okay, I'll make a gift for you in particular, and you end up getting the gift critiqued. Like, why is it this way? Why isn't it lying this way? Why is it doing so hard this way? And you're just like, never mind. I've learned what you've taught me. I will not make that mistake twice again. And that's it. And so my thing is not just with confidence when it comes down to your crafting, because anyone can lose confidence when it comes down to, your ability, your trust and judgment and things of that nature. But, excuse me, just the idea that someone else would like to put a hold or power over what it is that you can create, knowing full well they can't create themselves, but just what you can create, and they want that power to say this is not good enough to begin. No, it took a while to take or to remove that critique from your ear or your heart, because let's be honest, when someone's puts you down or puts down something that you do, you get hurt by it. And it's not just a simple hurt, it's a creative hurt. It's a hurt that's like, wow, this, how could they view this about my work, right? But after a while, you express to yourself what you already innately know, that no one can determine your worth because of your work. And your work is your work, and their work is their work, whatever it is they do or don't do. But they or no one else can determine your worth. And going back into making my sweaters, at least for my sons, I'm reminded, I am yawning, excuse me. I'm reminded that I like this, and I like things to be fun, and I like things to be cheerful and happy. And my son's face when I know he gets to use this, but it's not the same because the enthusiasm is a bit different. They're like, yay, sweater, and then we're back to playing the game. But it's the latent joy that happens when it's the first thing and only thing that they want to pick up to wear, and it's like, yeah, I made that. And so it's exciting when it comes down to things like that. So I guess you could say I'm rebuilding my knitter's confidence, which I'm very happy about. And I'm hoping over time that this really won't be an issue with me going forward. Excuse me for a second. It is in the afternoon and I didn't have another cup of coffee. Correction. Tea. I don't drink tea. And the tea that I do have, I don't drink coffee. What I do drink is tea, and the tea that I'm drinking is, I don't know if you can read it, but it's a herbal tea. Right? There it goes. It's an herbal tea, and it's ginger lemon tea, which probably tells me now I should probably drink more black tea or coffee. But I'm trying to settle my stomach, so it's herbal tea that it is. But I'm regaining back into my confidence of what has happened, and I'm learning to trust my judgment again when it comes down to my knitting. The last thing that I want to share with you is that when that confidence starts rebuilding, oh Lord, don't hold me back, right? I'm pretty excited about this. My mojo has picked up 10,000 paces. Before it was in the dump. Before it's like, oh, gotta trudge, do this. And then I realized how much I actually got done. I don't know if it has anything to do with putting the pieces of the sweater together, or once the pieces sweater together, you see how close to the finish line you really are. Whatever it is, I am at the finish line. I can see the promised land. Okay, I can't touch it yet, but I can see it. And I am looking forward to getting there with this particular project, with this sweater. And once that is done, then I can mark that off my list and torture myself with another sweater for my son. Regardless of the sweaters, my son, he has a list of things he wants me to make. He wants me to make him a sweater. He wants me to make him socks, which I don't mind because I know what he's talking about. The socks without the seam at the top, those are good socks, especially when they just close nicely and you don't have to worry about that stuff. Yeah. But I just wanted to share with you my own thoughts about confidence in knitting and what it really means, about how it is to lose that confidence over time, especially when it comes down to critique or a person being critical of your work. So if you have any thoughts or any opinions about, creative injury, because that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it creative injury. It's probably called something else. I have no idea. But it's an injury to your creative side because you're expressing something to someone and, they don't appreciate it as well as you would hope them to. But now that, I guess I've mourned that part, or I wouldn't say gotten over it, because something you really shouldn't be worried about as much, but as I mourned that part. Let's just leave it at that. I mourned that part. And now I'm really just enjoying back into my creative side of knitting. Also, I'm thinking this also has a lot to do with the fact that I fixed my bookshelf. My knitting book, crochet book, my crafting bookshelf, I corrected it. Before, there were things I could not get to, and I didn't have the patience to fix it before. But this weekend, I fixed the bookshelf. And I mean by fix means that I properly laid out the books correctly so that I can access my books. And now I'm having more access to my Stitch dictionaries and seeing all the colors that I have, my yarn through Ravelry and things of that nature, and my shelf itself, and my Stitch dictionary, what is possible. And now I'm just imagining. So if you have any thoughts about the creative injury, or maybe you got your mojo back, why don't you share with me in the comment section below. And I hope that you have a great week. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe so you can catch on to other things that I am doing. I'm hoping to expand my repertoire of work or topics that I'm going to cover, because I don't always want to discuss my work and projects. Sometimes I want to have like a sit down, chit chat, talky talk with you over some things that are either going on with knitting or crochet or just crafting in general, probably just crafting in general, insights, some things to make you go, But until then, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. Have a great week. Bye.